Hey guys, in today's video, I'm gonna rank some of my favorite ever UFC entrances. Honestly, entrances and walkouts just get me so excited for the fight. I think it's like one of the most underrated parts of the whole event. My whole obsession with walkouts actually stems from the obsession I had with the WWE when I was younger. I had a huge thing for Chris Jericho, and I was so obsessed with CM Punk, especially when he was in his whole best in the world era. As soon as his music would hit the arena, I was just so happy and glad that CM Punk was about to make his entrance. Speaking of CM Punk, I also think he used the Cult of Personality song when he was in the UFC as well. By the way, I am so glad that CM Punk is back in the WWE. Anyway, back to it. Here are my top 5 UFC entrances. So my first one at number 5 has to be Sean O'Malley's entrance at UFC 292. So this was when he got his TKO win over Aljamain Sterling and managed to secure the bantamweight title. So the reason I picked Sean O'Malley's entrance is because I absolutely love his walkout song, Lupe Fiasco's Superstar. That song has always been so iconic. The lyrics are just so on point. When I first heard Sean O'Malley using this song as his walkout theme, I was just so happy and glad that somebody was bringing this song back into the public eye, because at the time it was huge. And also I think this song really suits Sean O'Malley as well. He's always talked about wanting to be a superstar, which he definitely is. He comes out with a lot of aura. I love his whole stoic attitude when he does his walkout as well. Particularly at UFC 292, I just think the whole entrance, music, and his walkout was just so well in sync together. By the time he got to the octagon and raised his hand and the lights came on, we got back to the chorus of the song. So yeah, I think UFC 292, Sean O'Malley made such a great entrance. So at number 4, I have Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 308 for his fight against Robert Whittaker. So Khamzat Chimaev is definitely that guy that gives off a lot of aura in his walkouts. So the reason I picked this entrance was because around UFC 308, everyone was saying that Khamzat Chimaev had changed. He's changed his character and that he was acting really soft. But when he made his entrance at UFC 308, you could even see from backstage that kind of old Khamzat Chimaev with the anger, the energy. Even at UFC 273, Khamzat Chimaev ran out to the octagon, but backstage he was kind of doing this slow walk, and he was smiling at people, sticking his tongue out. I've watched this clip so many times, and it just really shows how cool and collected Khamzat Chimaev can be. And then once he's about to make that final walk to the octagon, that killer instinct in him just comes out and he'll be running straight to the octagon. And honestly, I think fans will never ever get bored of watching Khamzat Chimaev make his walkouts. So even at UFC 273, I loved how Khamzat Chimaev was sitting on the octagon waiting for Gilbert Burns to make his entrance, and he had Darren Till by his side. And I think even UFC president Dana White was loving it as well. He looked like he was taking a picture of him. So at number 3, I have Israel Adesanya making his Undertaker entrance at UFC 276. Like I said earlier, I absolutely loved watching the WWE, so when Israel Adesanya did this Undertaker entrance, I was just so happy. I think it was such a good tribute, and none other than Israel Adesanya could pull this off. But yeah, honestly, the Undertaker's entrances would absolutely terrify me when I was younger. That bell that you hear at the beginning would just send shivers through me. And no matter how many times I watched The Undertaker make his entrance, it would scare me every single time. Also, I loved how he was wearing an Undertaker style hat and carrying the urn. By the time he got to the octagon, he handed the urn to one of his cornermen. I just think that was absolutely hilarious. But honestly, watching this UFC entrance again, I just really wish that Israel Adesanya had on a floor length, a leather cloak on as well, the way that Undertaker did. Also, can we talk about how Israel Adesanya's French tip nails stand out so much? It was the perfect occasion for him to get his nails done because he was holding the urn. Also, I wish that once Israel Adesanya stepped foot into the octagon, he did that whole thing where his eyes would go into the back of his head the way that The Undertaker used to. That used to honestly scare me so much. So if Israel Adesanya did it as well, I think that would have been the cherry on the cake. So at number 2, I have Conor McGregor making his UFC 189 entrance with Sinead O'Connor. So correct me if I am wrong, but I think this is probably like one of the only times we've had a live singer while a fighter is making his entrance. Sinead O'Connor had always been such a beautiful singer with such an incredible voice, and the way she was singing definitely moved a lot of people. Conor McGregor is already such a big character himself, and he doesn't really need much to put on a show, but having another huge fellow Irish superstar there making his entrance with him, I just think was so iconic. So the song Foggy Dew that Sinead O'Connor was singing holds so much importance for Irish people and their history and their fight for freedom. Also, I loved how once Conor McGregor walked out into the arena, he turned around and kind of saluted at Sinead. Also, can we talk about how cool the green smoke around Sinead O'Connor looked? I think that is something that Irish MMA fans will never forget. So unfortunately, Sinead O'Connor did pass away in 2023, but I think she's probably like the only ever live singer the UFC have had. So going all the way to UFC 229 in 2018, Conor McGregor had that same green fog in the octagon as well, and I just think it looked so cool. Hopefully we do get to see Conor McGregor make his return to the UFC this year, and if he does, I would really love to see the green fog back in the octagon again. Finally, at number 1, I have put Khabib Nurmagomedov's entrance at UFC 229. So the reason I put Khabib Nurmagomedov's entrance at UFC 229 as number 1 is because he literally had most of the arena against him. As soon as that Russian flag came up on the screens, everybody was booing, and we know that even at the ceremonial weigh-ins, he was getting booed. Like, everyone in Las Vegas seemed to be totally against Khabib, and they just wanted to see Conor McGregor win and defeat Khabib. So clearly, just watching Khabib's entrance again, he did so well to compose himself, to really remain stoic and not affected by all of the boos. Even if you watch the entrance, you can kind of see like all the fans pushing down. Even listening into the commentary team was so iconic. John Anik said 26 have tried and 26 have failed, something along those lines, and it's just really stuck with people, and that eventually went into being 29-0. But yeah, as always, Khabib was giving off so much aura in his walkout. I've always loved his traditional Dagestani hat that he's worn, and clearly Khabib was feeling a lot of emotions at this time personally as well. As we know, his dad Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov was not present at this fight. Also, did you spot the current lightweight champion and pound for pound king Islam Makhachev in the background as well? He was one of Khabib's cornermen for this fight. So like Sean O'Malley's walkout earlier, Khabib's walkout was so well in sync with the music and the lights in the arena. By the time he like stepped to the door of the octagon and raised his hands up, the lights went on in the octagon as well, and I think that is a moment that has just stuck with so many people. Also, I love how in this entrance we actually got to hear like the full song as well. So the song is by Sabina and it's called Dagestan, and in the song the singer is talking about Dagestan culture and the way Dagestan is. You can't deny that Khabib has done the most incredible job of putting Dagestan on the map. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below, what are some of your favorite ever UFC entrances? I know there are so many other incredible walkouts that I haven't mentioned, so let me know in the comments if I should do a part 2. As always, please don't forget to share and like this video and subscribe to my channel.